Would the attorneys like to give them opening statements?
Hello, we represent the Loving, Mrs. Mildred Loving and Mr. Richard Loving. We come here today as a representative for the couple as they could not make it today to help this couple to reclaim their rights to marry.
Hello, we represent the Commonwealth of Virginia. We came here to defend of the state of Virginia.
Both of the parties can begin with your argument.
Your Honour, from the case before, local police raided their home in the early morning hours of July 11, 1958, hoping to find them having sex, given that interracial sex was then also illegal in Virginia. When the officers found the Loving sleeping in their bed, Mildred pointed out their marriage certificate on the Loving's bedroom wall. They were told the certificate was not valid in the Commonwealth. The Lovings were charged under Section 20 until 58 of the Virginia Code, which prohibited interracial couples from being married out of state and then returning to Virginia, and Section 20 to 59, which classified miscegenation as a felony, punishable by a prison sentence of between 1 and 5 years. The appellant was convicted in Caroline County Circuit Court, with the sentence suspended on condition that the couple leave Virginia and not return together for at least 25 years.
Your Honour, in our holding, we contended that a more rational basis analysis should be applied because the statute punish members of both races equally. This is referred to the case of Pace and Alabama, 1883. The Supreme Court at the time of the United States ruled that the conviction of an Alabama couple for interracial sex affirmed on appeal by the Alabama Supreme Court did not violate the 14th Amendment. Interracial marital sex was deemed a felony, whereas extramarital sex, adultery or fornication, was only a misdemeanor. On appeal, the United States Supreme Court ruled that the criminalization of interracial sex was not a violation of the Equal Protection Clause because whites and non-whites were punished in equal measure for the offense of engaging in interracial sex. The court did not need to affirm the constitutionally of the ban of interracial marriage was also part of Alabama's anti-miscegenation law. Since the plaintiff, Mr. Pace, had chosen not to appeal that section of the law, after Pace and Alabama, the constitutionality of anti-miscegenation laws banning marriage and sex between whites and non-whites remain unchallenged. Also, in Kirby 1922-21, Mr. Kirby asked the state of Arizona for an annulment of his marriage. He changed that his marriage was invalid because his wife was a Negro descent, thus violating the state's anti-miscegenation law. The Arizona Supreme Court judge Mrs. Kirby raised by observing her physical characteristic and determined that she was a mixed race, therefore granting Mr. Kirby annulment.
I conveyed the message I had been given by Richard Loving. Mr. Tell the court I love my wife, and it is just unfair that I can't live with her in Virginia. The argument that I will present will prove to you that the Loving's case was a violation of the Equal Protection Clause because both the white and the non-white spouse were punished equally for the crime of miscegenation. The law of the Virginia Code forbade only interracial marriages involving white persons. This is clear that the statute drew a racial classification. The Virginia's anti-miscegenation law is based entirely on racial distinctions, could have no legitimate purpose other than to perpetuate racial discrimination. The law had been created to further white supremacy. The rejection law of the freedom to marry violates the principal purpose of the Equal Protection Clause to eliminate state discrimination. In Perez against Lippert, the Supreme Court of California recognized that bans on interracial marriage violated the 14th Amendment of the Federal Constitution.
Any other addition? Then we shall make our decisions. Dismissing the Commonwealth of Virginia's argument that a law forbidding both white and black persons from marrying persons of another race and providing identical penalties to white and black violators could not be construed as racially discriminatory. The court ruled that Virginia's anti-miscegenation statute violated both the Due Process Clause and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Marriage is one of the basic civil rights of man, fundamental to our very existence and survival. To deny this fundamental freedom on so unsupportable a basis as the racial classifications embodied in this statute, classifications so directly subversive of the principle of equality at the heart of the 14th Amendment, is surely to deprive all the state citizens of liberty without due process of law. The 14th Amendment requires that the freedom of choice to marry not be restricted by invidious racial discrimination. Under our Constitution, the freedom to marry or not marry a person of another race resides with the individual and cannot be infringed by the state. We conclude that anti-miscegenation laws were racist and had been enacted to perpetuate white supremacy. There is patently no legitimate overriding purpose independent of invidious racial discrimination which justifies this classification. The fact that Virginia prohibits only interracial marriage involving white persons demonstrated that the racial classifications must stand on their own justification as measures designed to maintain white supremacy. The U.S. Supreme Court overturned the Loving's convictions in a unanimous decision.